Alright guys, so moving on to Unit 3. Here's some pretty common homework questions asked if you want to pause the video and take a look at some of these. Here's number 15, and then there's number 31. So today we are using the unit circle. There will be a unit circle quiz in the next few days, so you'll need to know how to create it. And you will not be allowed to use a calculator for that. Take a second, copy some of this down. We'll talk more in depth about it because it takes a little bit of time to get the hang of. But the key things to know here with the unit circle is your x coordinate. So the x value on the unit circle is the cosine of the angle measure. The y value is sine. And that makes sense because if you remember, this is sine was y over r, so it makes sense that it's a y value. Cosine was x over r, so it makes sense that cosine is your x. But what this allows you to do is if I'm looking at this unit circle, let's make it a lot bigger here. If I'm looking down at this value, at 210 degrees, cosine will equal negative root 3 over 2. At 210 degrees, sine will equal negative 1/2. So instead of having drawing out pictures or memorizing a whole bunch of stuff, if you have the unit circle, you have all the exact values that we would use for pretty much every trig function. Alright, so we're going to use the unit circle and solve these two problems. We want to find the cosine of 4 pi over 3, the cosecant of 11 pi over 6. So what we're going to do, we're going to first find that angle measure on the unit circle. So we're looking through 4 pi over 3 is here. So then we want the cosine. So the cosine is the x value. So this would equal negative 1/2. And that's it. It's pretty easy. Likewise, if I want to find a cosecant, I'm going to 11 pi over 6. Now, we don't have a cosecant value here. We do, however, know that cosecant is related to sine. So the cosecant of 11 pi over 6 is going to be my sine value just flipped, or taking the reciprocal up. So that would just be negative 2 over 1, which is just negative 2. That's how easy it is to use the unit circle to help us solve for trig functions. So take a second, pause it, write this down, then continue the video. Alright, so let's find theta where sine equals negative 1/2. So now what we're doing is we're solving for theta using the unit circle. So what I want to do is, since this is my y coordinate, I want to go through all my y coordinates and find where it's negative. And what I can also do to save myself some time is, if I remember the all students take calculus, I can eliminate some of the quadrants I'm searching. So since this is negative, I know sine is only negative down 3 and 4. So I'm going to look for negative 1/2 as a y value, there and there. So on the interval of 0 to pi, meaning theta is a radian, my two answers would be answer number 1, 7 pi over 6. Answer number 2, 11 pi over 6. So all I'm doing is I'm just figuring out, finding where the exact value is, and then matching it up with the angle measure. And that's my answer. Alright, we have cosine next. So cosine of root 3 over 2, it's positive, so cosine's positive there and there. It's my x value, so there's one x value, there's another one. So the angle measures that correspond with those is pi over 6 and 11 pi over 6. That's it. Tangent, you have to put this, you have to remember that that's the same as saying sine over cosine. So we want to find somewhere where that equals 1, which means that sine and cosine have to be the exact same thing, because it's the only way they're going to equal 1. So tangent is positive, and 1 and 3. So if we're looking, sine and cosine equal the same thing there and there. So they're going to cancel, equal 1. So the angle measures I'm looking for would be pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4. Are your answers. So that concludes the unit circle. On the book, make sure you do all the homework on the interval of 0 to 2 pi. It says some other crazy things, but it's kind of confusing. Just kind of ignore it. Hope that makes sense. Like I said, we'll talk more about it tomorrow.